What's up, everybody? Good morning. It is your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha. Represent Mocha's Cafe de Paris, where I'm always serving you wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. Want to big up to all my ladies. Want to welcome each and every one of y'all to Mocha's Ladies Lounge. Know it's been a while since I've uploaded any content on this. Yes, sis. How you doing? Good morning, Kels. Yeah, I need to start I had to start uploading up on my ladies lounge channel because again, I want to start doing more stuff for the women. I want us to have our own space where we could talk about a lot of topics for women because there's some women out here that's going through some real shit. And we need a space we can go to without, having to worry about being ridiculed, without having to worry about being looked at with the side eye. We need our own space. And it seems like a lot of the channel for women is mostly just damn toxic. It's channels based off of toxic and drama. You can't really go to a woman's space without women going in on other women going in on other female content creators. I'm like, okay, we got so much time and energy into building channels off of toxicity. How do you pronounce it? Toxicity? Or toxicness, or however. Nobody's not hitting on issues that women really need to go through. And I just want to work with women so much more on that because again, we don't really have too many spaces we can go to. We really can't go to the men's spaces too much because they either dogging us or dragging us through the mud, or they only giving, negative content, nothing that's really going to help us or whatever, so it's just time for us to have a space of our own. So I'm going to be starting doing a lot more uploading because I'm telling you, it's some women out here going through some heavy stuff, and it's unfortunate. You have to have a space you can go to because really, you can't really put too much trust in women these days. You know what I mean? It's not too many genuine friendships out there. It's gotten to a point where women are running out of more and more places to go where they can seek help, where they can seek therapy, where they can seek some real spiritual guidance. We almost really don't have too many places to go, and the truth is, again, we don't like confiding into other women because let's just be honest, Kels, we know females are messy these days. I've seen so many women on YouTube, all of their business is being aired out. All of their business is being aired out. And I know the reason it's being aired out has everything to do with the fact that too many women are sharing their personal business on YouTube. When you put all your personal business on YouTube and you fall out with a content creator, you already know 9 times out of 10, everything you ever told that person, now the whole YouTube streets are going to know it. That's why I rock with very few. I'll only rock with Kels, Classic Ruby. I rock with a few. And the dudes that I do rock with is dudes that haven't given me any problems or any issues. But to just be, trying to looking for friendships to build off of YouTube, I would never feel comfortable with that because I see what women do to each other on YouTube. I see how these females dog and drag each other and air each other dirty laundry. And again, it just doesn't come from enemies. Once upon a time, these peoples was friends. They was friends at one point in time. That's the hurtful part about it. A lot of these women that are dragging each other through the mud on YouTube, they were friends. They were down by law. And somewhere, somehow, something went left. Now, my thing is, if y'all not going to be friends anymore, you know what I mean? Y'all not going to deal with each other anymore. Just leave the friendship gracefully. You don't have to, you know what I'm saying, air each other dirty laundry. That's breaking a sister code, like for real. If I'm not going to deal with somebody anymore, that's just it. I'm not going to deal with you. I'm not trying to go after you. I'm not trying to ruin you, slander you, sabotage you, try to make your life miserable. You know what I mean? Because I believe in what's called karma. And I know the balances of the universe. Whatever you put out there, that's exactly what you're going to get back. So you got to be very careful. Sometimes you cannot allow your emotions to get the best of you, where you're around here going tat for tat. I'm on live on the channel. Going tat to tat, retaliating. My bad, y'all. I'm just putting this in my community tab so the ladies on my other channel will know that I'm going live over here, so they can come join. But yes, this is going to be my platform for women, because again, I understand men, they don't, they don't always want to listen to womanly issues. I get it. So I have to have a separate space for them, and I have to have a separate space for my ladies. So, it is what it is. But I decided to go live this morning because, for one, I have been neglecting my ladies. I haven't been doing anything for y'all. So that's the first thing. Secondly, I really want to talk about this cheating situation. With Derek Jackson and his wife. I really want to talk about this due to the fact that it's not even so much the men that I'm disappointed with. What I'm disappointed with is the women that are going in on Derek Jackson's wife, because it amazes me how women try to act like they ain't never experienced that bullshit. You have women up here acting like they never ever experienced being played or cheated on. They act like it never happened to them. And this is the reason why you really cannot be transparent in these YouTube streets. You really can't share your testimony. You can't share your story, because some of these females out here try to act like that stuff like that ain't never fucking happened to them. You get what I'm saying, Kels? They try to come on here. Oh, these women are so dumb. They up here getting cheated on by their husbands. They up here looking, like they came from Salvation Army, like a homeless person. I mean, it amazes me how many women was attacking Derek Jackson's wife. Like the shit ain't never happened to y'all. We all have been there. We all have experienced heartbreaks. We have experienced being lied to. We have experienced being taken advantage of. And we wonder why men don't respect us, because, for one, women don't respect women. We don't. Instead of people out, what women should have been doing is encouraging this woman. You know what I mean? Like, hey, don't let this situation make you feel less of a woman. If I could have a conversation with Derek Jackson's wife right now, my dialogue with her would be totally different from compared to what these other sisters out here are doing. You got women up here telling her, saying, oh, I know why he cheated on her. She looks a hot mess. Are y'all freaking serious? Y'all think it's okay for a man to step outside on his wife because his wife ain't dressed up or she ain't got her hair done? For one, I don't know why so many women was making a big deal out of this woman wearing a bonnet, which I don't think it was a bonnet. I think it was like a beret, a hat that looks like a bonnet. It's called a beret. Whether it was a beret or a bonnet, she was in the comfort of her own home. You know what I'm saying? Now, I could see if they was out like somewhere prestigious, important, at an important event. This woman was in the comfort of her home. Yeah, like Kel says. Right. Like women never took back a cheating dude. Girl, let me tell you something. They need to stop. And you know what, Kels? These females that's going in on her, sis, these are the same ones. They'll fuck Derek Jackson the moment they can get a hold of him. Trust and believe. They will screw Derek Jackson. These same women up here that's bashing him, speaking down on him. If the opportunity was to present itself, you better believe half of these women who talk so much trash about the situation, they would be the first to sleep with Derek. Because at this point, females have reached a new level of desperation. And what has happened, what's going on with a lot of single women, and I'm not saying all single women have this problem. I totally believe you got some single women out there that are happy being single. I'm not going to say that all single women are haters of married women, because that is a very false statement. And that's a very general statement. And that's a very ignorant statement. So I would never, ever say a single woman, all single women are hating on married women. I would never say that. But I would say this. There are a lot of miserable single women. There's a difference between being a single woman and a miserable single woman. You have single women that are happy in their space. They're happy not being tied to anyone or belonging to anyone. They're living their best life. They got their businesses, they got good careers. They traveling, they seeing the world, and they doing them. So big ups to the single women that are not miserable, that's not going around trying to find pleasure in other women's pain, looking for married dudes so they can feel validated. Big ups to my sisters, my single sisters, that's living their best life and not trying to make it a mission to attack another woman's household. Because the truth is, if women wasn't so damn easy, these married men wouldn't have the advantage and being able to step outside their marriage if more women would stop making themselves available and making themselves easy access. Notice I said the word access. Women need to stop making themselves easy access, and these married men wouldn't have the upper hand and being able to play so many women. So I want to really talk about the situation about these unfaithful married men, because it's going on so much. It's everywhere, right? I have no interest in another woman's household. Me either. And that's why I want to talk about this, because it's so many women out here that are settling. It's so many women out here that are putting themselves in a situation to be taken advantage of. First of all, if you're dealing with a man who you know is already taken, you are already selling yourself short right off the muscle. You're already selling yourself short right off the muscle, meaning you don't mind being second. You don't put yourself in a situation in which you are content being second. You're content being second, and you're content with the fact that you are just a side dish. And like any other restaurant, and it was some content creator, I think it was Funky Dineva, somebody said it, and like he stated, you can't get full off a salad. Salad is just a side dish. You can't get full off a side dish. And I strongly believe that a man is only as faithful as his options. So again, as I stated, we have all of these women that are going in on Derek Jackson's wife. They going in her looks. They going in her hair. Everybody is making a mockery. But I noticed really it was more single women and more single mothers that were attacking her compared to the married women. Now, this is not to say none of the married women had an opinion about it, but I noticed it was mostly single mothers and single women, because the truth is a lot of women would not admit it. And like I said, this is not the case for all women. If it doesn't apply, you don't have to reply. If you're happy being single and you're genuinely happy being a single mother, then that's your business. But I'm talking about these ones who pretend that they are so happy to be single and they're really not. These are the women who get off on seeing other women's marriage fail. These women, you got the single women, the single miserable women, and the miserable single mothers who wish they had a companion, wish they had somebody who would marry them, wish they had somebody who would give a damn about them. The moment they hear these kind of stories, they have a field day. Because again, it makes them feel good that, you know what, this is why I ain't got no man. See, the shit these women got to go through, I'm glad I ain't got no man. And the truth is, some women wish they had a man to go through something with. Now, I'm not saying a woman wishes she can be cheated on, wishes she could be disrespected, but you have a lot of females out here who be contradicting themselves and try to act like, you know, they really are content with the situation they're in. When the truth is, some women, they have to make themselves happy because really they don't have a choice. Some women have to convince themselves, I'm happy being single, because the truth is they can't get anybody. Now, I'm not saying that this makes married women better. I'm not saying that a woman who has a man is more happier than a woman who doesn't have a man. But what I'm saying is women need to stop sitting around here, these miserable females need to stop sitting around here contradicting themselves, acting as if they're not pressed, that they are on their own, that they are by themselves. Like I said, if you are genuinely happy being single, then kudos to you. Because my thing is, if a person is genuinely happy, chaos, the way I look at it is, they don't have to go around beating other people down to make themselves feel good about themselves. You get what I'm saying? For instance, if I'm really a happy woman in my marriage, or a happy single woman, I will not make it my business to go all out just to sabotage another woman who's not in a good space right now. Because again, all of us have been in that space. You know, if it's not with your current husband, you went through it with your ex-husband, you went through it with your ex-boyfriend. It's not too many women that have not experienced getting cheated on. And a man cheating on you does not define who you are as a woman. And what's making me upset about this whole thing with Derek Jackson, which anybody who already was woke already knew Derek Jackson was a hypocrite. I mean, it doesn't take Ray Charles to make you see that. You know, anybody who has any real common sense knows the way that Derek Jackson used to cape for black women. He never had the best interest. He never had the best interest for black women. You know, but again, you will have to have the spirit of discernment to be able to know that. So my thing is, I'm not really tripping off of him because Derek Jackson is not doing something that so many men out here have not done. You know how many pastors done got exposed? The list goes on. You know how many pastors done got exposed for cheating on their wives? These mega ministry pastors. Not only that, these relationship goals. These couples, these red carpet couples that so many women idolize and wish they had. I mean, look at Beyonce and Jay-Z. We know Beyonce is a beautiful, stunning woman. Who would have ever thought that Jay-Z, who looks like a goddamn bullfrog, will have the audacity to cheat on a woman that beautiful and stunning? But he did. And guess what? Unlike Derek Jackson, Jay-Z, he admitted it. He admitted it. And Jay-Z said he realized the pain that he had taken his wife through, which is what got him to a place in which he knew he had to work on being a better husband. Now, the truth is, the way marriage works, what a lot of women don't understand is most women who end up really getting really good husbands, who end up having successful marriages, it wasn't because their husbands were always good husbands. Most men that are good husbands are men who have taken a woman somewhere through a lot of bullshit at some point. What's up, Underrated Darkness? Appreciate you for stopping by, hanging out in the ladies' lounge. You could buy some drinks while you in here. Only way a man is allowed to come to the ladies' lounge, he got to chip in and buy drinks for every female that's in the chat room. So underrated darkness, pay up. You got to pay up, bro. I want to get an amaretto sour. Kels, go ahead and put your order in, because underrated darkness, he gonna buy our drinks today, girl. He lucky it's happy hour. I'm being messy. Appreciate the underrated darkness for you stopping by. But it's back to this point that I wanted to make. Most good husbands did not become good husbands overnight. They've done a lot of bullshit for them to get to the point to where they realize they have to work on themselves and better themselves as men, as husbands. Because the truth of the matter, marriage does not come with the pamphlet. Marriage doesn't come with a pamphlet. You don't go into marriage knowing how to be the perfect wife or the perfect husband. And the problem is, a lot of people, especially in the black community shuns the idea of marriage. We shun the idea of marriage. It's these false prophets that are dating coaches that have appointed themselves to be dating coaches that are telling black men don't marry black women, that are telling black women don't marry black men. We have so many people that are becoming toxic. These false YouTube preaching prophets, these dating coaches, I'll call them these YouTube pastors, who think they got the answers to relationships, who think they got the answers to who black women should be with, to who black men should be with, giving advice, relationship advice, calling themselves relationship experts, when a lot of these YouTube dating coaches don't have no receipts to show for that they are experts in relationships. A lot of them have not been married long enough to tell black men or black women on who they should be married to and why they should not be married. That's the first problem. Okay. Secondly, some of them on their third, fourth, fifth, sixth marriage, but all of a sudden they're dating coaches. They're relationship experts. They got the answers for who black women should be with and who black men should be with. But you have no receipts to produce that. How did it work for you? You're not with anybody. You're not married anymore. So you mean to tell me all 3, 4 of your partners, it was something wrong with all of them? Nothing was wrong with you? Your own wife, number 3, husband, number 4, whatever. You got all the answers. Something is wrong with that. That's why I tell all of you subscribers, you don't look at what people say, you look at their receipts. If they have not been in a 20, 30, 40 year, if they haven't been in a marriage 10 years or longer, they don't know what it takes to have a marriage, what it takes to build a marriage. They don't know. Only people who have been together for 10 years or more know what it takes. Now, my thing is, you have to be selective in who you listen to. Now, if you want to be a player and you want to just screw all kind of women, and just, be a bachelor and just have your way with taking advantage of all kind of women, then that's the content you need to be preaching on. You don't need to be telling men not to marry black women or not to build anything with black women. That's your choice. You decided to not build anything with black women. You decided to give up on black women. You don't have to promote that narrative so you can get other black men to think the way you think or look at the way things the way you look at. And same thing with being a black woman. If eventually you want to get married, why are you listening to these single women up here telling you that black men ain't shit? Black men aren't nothing to build with. Why would you want to listen to a woman that's going to discourage you from possibly meeting a good soulmate, somebody who can actually be an asset to you? And the sad part is, I'm going to tell y'all something. The black community, a lot of us are going to miss out on good men and good women because of these dating coaches, these false YouTube prophets. A lot of us are not going to get we're going to miss out on the blessing of a good soulmate because we are allowing the wrong people in our ear gate. We're allowing people to tell us black men ain't shit. You need to swirl. Or you either need to date other women. It's going to always be a different narrative they're going to try to push so you can think on the level that they think upon and vice versa. So I want to talk about this thing with the unfaithful husband. Like I said, it's a lot of men, married men, being exposed. Everybody's looking at Derek Jackson's wife with the side eye, and they appear blaming this woman, ridiculing this woman for something Derek Jackson did. People are going in, especially women. It's women doing it more than the men. I've heard more women say, well, don't she need to do her hair? Why she came on camera with her hair not done? Why? My thing is, who does she need to impress? Let me tell you something. Bonnet or no bonnet. Don't matter how a woman looks. If a man wants to put his dick somewhere else, he's going to put it somewhere else. It got nothing to do with how this woman looks. That's 2% of the problem. The other 98% was Derek Jackson did not have any respect for his marital vows, and he didn't keep his dick in his pants. Why are we not focusing on that? Why are we taking away from him and we want to keep attacking this woman's physical attributes? Because the truth is, she's not an ugly woman. And evidently, there was something about her he loved enough to marry, but the problem was, the majority of these married men, he just wanted to have his goddamn cake and eat it too. That's the whole bottom line. You have some men who got steak and potatoes at home, and every once in a while, they want a goddamn hot dog. Now, is this right? No. Am I condoning it? No. Am I saying that a married woman should sit up there and allow it? Absolutely not. But what I'm saying is, realistically, cheating is one of those things that are occurring too frequently in these marriages. And when you have a soulmate, when you have a partner who steps out on you, what's up, Caramel baby? When you have a partner, when your companion steps out on you, whether if you're a married man and your wife steps out on you, or you're a married woman and your husband steps out on you, your companion stepping out on you says nothing about you. But what it does says, it says everything about them. When Derek Jackson stepped out on his wife, it had nothing to do with her looks. It had nothing to do with that damn bonnet, beret, whatever the hell narrative y'all want to keep pushing. It had nothing to do with that. But what it had to do with was Derek Jackson's selfishness and immaturity and goddamn ego. That's what it had to do with. Derek Jackson was not a grown-ass man that he pretended to be. He was a little boy in a man's body, because that is shit that little boys do. Real men already know that messing with these side hoes, these concubines, these appetizers, only are going to open the gateway to a whole nother set of problems that is going to become too much for them. That was a little boy ass move on Derek Jackson. Y'all can stop with all the narratives. Because of their religion. Religion my ass. I'm tired of people using religion as an scapegoat every time somebody fucks off. That got nothing to do with it. Everybody want to talk about religion, because of the church they go to, because of the way she looks, that got nothing to do with it. You have what's called the man-child syndrome. You got a lot of grown-ass men out here who still can have no discipline. You have grown men who lack discipline. Don't know to keep their dick in their pants. Why are we trying to make it deep? What's up, Titan? Titan in the building. Much love to you, Titan. Appreciate you for stopping by. Hollering at me, showing me some love. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm getting on you pookies this morning. We want to make this deep. Derek Jackson wouldn't keep his dick in his pants. Why are we riding his wife like it's her fault? Let me tell you something. I've been married going on 22 years, okay? I have no control over what my husband decides to do if he decides to do something in violation of our marital commitment. Somebody stepping out on you, it does not define that something is wrong with you. Because again, there are beautiful, stunning women out here who still get cheated on. I don't give a damn if she wear a bonnet or get her hair done every goddamn day. A man who lacks discipline and does not have respect for his marriage, it don't matter what his wife has, how good of a woman she is, he will still go out there and step out on her. You know how many beautiful women done got cheated on? Halle Berry, Jennifer Lopez, Nicki Minaj, Evelyn Lozada. Many beautiful women. God bless his soul. Kobe Bryant cheated on his wife. Is Vanessa ugly? No, she's not. Attractive women get cheated on just as much as Shrek looking bitches get treated on. And what happened with Derek Jackson, like a lot of these high value men, what tends to happen is when, especially men who are successful, women are automatically attracted and drawn to successful men. Rather, if that successful man is a lawyer, an athlete, a music producer, owns his own company, his own businesses, women are automatically drawn to men who are successful. And what is happening is a lot of these females out here, they have, the way they have put themselves out there, a lot of women have made it so bad for themselves to where they really don't have any options. It's gotten to a point where women have put themselves in a position to either in which they have to stay single, or if they do decide to date, they're going to end up dating somebody who 9 times out of 10 who is already in a relationship with somebody else. Because that's just how bad women have become limited. So it's gotten to the point now to where females have reached a new level of desperation. And what's going on? See, you have to be woke to the masses. What's really going? Let me tell you what's really going on with these single women out here. To be honest with y'all, and I'm gonna try to be as transparent, and I'm gonna try to get as unnaked as I can be. The problem with a lot of single women out here is not even so much about dick. Trust and believe, that's like 60% of it. And it's not even so much about love for a lot of these women, because the truth of it, a lot of these women, they don't even know what love is anymore. But what has happened is women are getting pleasure off of the pain of other women. Meaning, for instance, if I'm a single female or I'm a single mother, I'm a miserable woman. Put it this way: if you're a single miserable woman, single miserable mother, there's a difference between being a miserable single woman versus a single woman, or being a single mom versus a miserable single mom. These miserable women, what is going on with a lot of them is that a lot of them already know that they have put themselves in a position in which real men aren't going to be checking for them. Okay? A lot of these women know, a lot of them pretty much know that it's not going to be too many real men of real value that are going to be checking for them, because for one, a lot of them got too much baggage, baggage, meaning too many multiple children for multiple relationships, or some of them who don't have children, they have such a trash reputation that so many dudes in the neighborhood in which they resided in, so many dudes have had them. So they're known for having too many mileages on their vagina. Basically, what I'm saying is a lot of these women out here know that they have contaminated themselves to the point in which ain't no real man is going to be checking for them. They know that, and they have accepted it. So what has happened with a lot of these women that have contaminated themselves, they have already accepted that. So what they're doing now is they are trying to target women who did not make the choices that they made. For instance, if I am a single, miserable woman because I have tarnished my reputation by sleeping with all kind of random men, I have allowed myself to build this reputation in my neighborhood in which I can't get men to take me seriously enough to want to commit to me. What tends to happen is it starts to eat at my self-esteem. It starts to take an emotional and mental toll on me when I come to the realization that I cannot get a man or a companion to really take me seriously and want to build with me because of the way I have lived my life. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to target a vulnerable man, a lustful man who lacks discipline. I'm going to intentionally target a man who I know is in a relationship in which he's not really sexually pleased with his companion, or he's not really self-fulfilled with himself. So that is what's going on. You have single women who intentionally want to target men that are in relationships because, again, hurt people hurt people. If I'm miserable as a single woman, last thing I want to do is see other women be happy and have something that I can't get. So what better way to do that than to destroy another woman's household? Now, I will say this: no woman cannot destroy another woman's household unless that man's allows it. Because I don't want anybody in here thinking that I'm condoning these men and giving these men a pass. But let's be honest, a lot of these women, what a lot of these guys aren't understanding, like Derek Jackson thought it was about him and the way he was putting down his dick game. Derek Jackson thought he had it made because he getting the best of both worlds. He's making a profit off of the delusions of black women buying his books, his posters, his coffee mugs, whatever. On top of that, he has a wife at home who's taking care of him, his kids, nurturing him and all of that. Then on top of that, he has these side chicks that he can get some sexual fulfillment every once in a while when he wants to escape his marital boredoms. And what he's not understanding is a lot of the women that he was dealing with, they was only dealing with him due to the fact that they knew he had somebody. They are only dealing with him because they found out he has somebody. And what it is hurt people hurt people. I'm a miserable woman, so I'm going to get with another man who I know. I'm going to get with a man who I know has a woman. And I'm not going to care how I entertain her husband. I'm going to entertain her husband. I'm going to sleep with her husband. I'm going to mess with her man because, again, it makes me feel good as a woman that I can jeopardize another woman's household. You have some women who get off on that. They enjoy it. They enjoy sitting back, watching a married woman think she got the perfect marriage, knowing that she banging this woman's husband. You got some women who get a kick out of it. Yeah, she thinks she got something. She think her husband this and that, but he was to my house last night banging my back out. You got some women that are willing to be disrespected and treated like trash just so they can try to sabotage another woman's happiness. I've heard some women do it. You have some women who really, their psyche is just that damaged. They get off of messing with somebody else's man because it proves to them that, see, that's why that's why it's good for me to be single. That's why I don't have no man. Cause see, I'm already fucking somebody else's man. These niggas out here, they ain't nobody. They ain't no good. I know men ain't nothing cause I'm fucking somebody's husband right now. You have some women who think like that. And the majority of these women who came out to expose Derrick Jaxn, 9 times out of 10, they expose him because, for one, he's been banging them all this time and they have not gotten anything back out of it. So now they feeling cheated, thinking, okay, all this pussy I'm giving him, at some point he gonna leave his wife. You got some women who will screw a married man for years, thinking that eventually he gonna give in and leave his wife, only to find out, damn, all this ass I've been giving him, he still ain't leaving. Yes, when he comes to your house 3, 4 in the morning and he done bust a few, he pulls up his pants and he goes back. He climbs up off of you, washes off with some Irish Spring soap in your bathroom. He pulls off in your driveway and goes home. You can't tell me as a woman that's a good feeling that you having somebody else's man sexually, but at the same time, that's all you really getting out the deal. And in most cases, most of the time, you will catch feelings when you are messing with these married men. You will catch feelings because it's always that thing of wanting something. You tend to desire something you know you really can't have more than anything. That's how these side chicks become obsessed. They become infatuated because a lot of the times we become drawn to things that we really not supposed to have. And that's what tends to happen. A lot of these side chicks, they get attached. You can't be sleeping with a man every night and don't think you're not going to feel something for him. Now, you may lie to yourself initially and be like, yeah, I could fuck him and not give a fuck about him. But you lying to yourself because eventually you're going to feel some type of way, especially when y'all spending a lot of time together. This ain't somebody you screwed one time and that's it and you went about your business. You letting this man come to your house 2, 3 times out the week and he's screwing you, physically involved with you. Eventually, you're going to start feeling some attachment. And the worst thing a woman could do is get attached to something that does not belong to you. You have single women like me who are spoiled and stubborn and like materialistic things more than a man. I don't want to share my materialistic things. Absolutely. And like I said, it's nothing wrong with being single woman, being a single woman. Enjoy being single. But when you out here, you entertaining these married men Because again, it makes you feel good about yourself because you're thinking, oh, well, he must be not satisfied with his wife. She must be not doing her job at home. No, it has everything to do with a man is only as faithful as his options. A man like Derek Jackson, not only he's not an ugly guy, but at the same time, he was always a successful guy. That was already 2 pluses. That's enough within itself for him to win these side chicks over. Because for one, he's not ugly. He has a nice physique. And then again, also, you have women that are drawn to married men. You have women who only want married men. They're not interested in bachelors. They're not interested in single men. You have some women who actually only want married men. You have some women who get off on being with men who belong to another woman. Something about it excites the desperation of women with low self-esteem. They get excited off another woman's man wanting them. It's intriguing that a married man could leave his house and come to their house 3, 4 in the morning, bang they back out and go right back home. You have some women who enjoy that. They have a habit of getting attached to used products. Right, sis? What's up, Sassy Diva? Sassy says, Mocha, I have an associate who's going through this now. She loves the man so much and he doesn't want to, and doesn't want to share him with his wife. Absolutely. You get this attachment messing with another woman's man. You will get attached. Because again, it's that thing of you really want something. You become more drawn to wanting something you know you really can't have. That's why it's called lust. Lust is something that you really shouldn't be desiring. You really shouldn't be desiring, but you desire it so much because you know you're really not supposed to have it. And that's exactly. And this is what a lot of women are not understanding. And I can't believe we're in 2021 and you still got women around here who believe that married men are going to leave their wives. It's not going to happen. Now, I've been sitting back and peeping from the clouds because I've been listening to a lot of content creators basically saying how Black women have lowered their standards as married men because they allow their husbands to step out on them, or they know what their husbands are doing and they won't leave their husbands. You have a lot of these single women that are really discrediting married women. They're putting married women down. And I'm not saying because you're a single woman, you're supposed to praise married women. And I'm not saying because you're a married woman, you should disrespect single women. Because at the end of the day, whether you're a married woman or a single woman, we're not better than each other. Neither one is better than the other. We all got issues we got to work on, whether you're a married woman, you're a single mother with children. We all got things that we need to better ourselves on. None of us are no more superior than the other. That's the first thing I want to say. But I'm tripping off a lot of these female content creators because they are basically discrediting married women like Derek Jackson's wife by saying she's dumb, she's stupid, she's weak, she's docile, she has low self-esteem. Let me tell you who that is. That's not his wife. That's Derek Jackson. He's the one who's stupid. He's the one who's dumb. He's the one who has low self-esteem. He is everything that y'all are saying she is. That's Derek Jackson, not Miss Jackson. He's the dumb one because for one, he around here dealing with chicks knowing he's this well-known love guru. Knowing the moment you piss one of these bitches off, they're going to expose you. They're going to put all your business out there. He's the weak one because he had no discipline on himself. He didn't keep his dick in his pants. He's the one. Why are we mad at the wife? That's what Derek Jackson did. He's the weak one. He's the dumb one. He's the one with low self-esteem. Because you are already successful, dude. You already had you a wife, dude. So what more did you need? That still wasn't enough for you. Your ego still needed to be stroked because you around here dealing with other women outside of your success, outside of your marriage. You already had things that was hard for other black men to accumulate. You had a wife. You already had success. So this just goes to show you, ladies, just because a man is well-dressed, just because he's built and masculine, that does not mean he's a man of high value. You got men who know how to play the role of a high value. They know how to dress in suits. They know how to wear expensive shoes. They know how to talk the educational talk. And behind all of that, self-esteem, low as a project chicks. Hey, Mocha, you speaking facts as always. Yes, she won't listen. She thinking they will have a future together. Absolutely. A lot of them do. A lot of them do. A lot of them do. And what what a lot of women are not understanding is a man can sleep with a woman and not ever have any feelings, any attachment. Men have the gift of separating emotional from physical. Women, we are not built, we are not designed like that. Yeah, and this is the part. We have women that are tearing this women down like y'all ain't never got cheated on. Like a man ain't never hurt you or disrespected you. We all have been there. We all have been there at some point in time. One woman's downfall, everybody looking at her with a side eye. Oh, she think, all this time her man cheating on her so-and-so cheating on her. Some of y'all wish y'all had somebody who y'all could even talk about. You got all these miserable single women, these miserable single mothers, the main ones who jumping on these platforms, having a field day off of this woman's misery. She has done nothing to y'all. She has not disrespected none of y'all. Now, let's say if Derek Jackson's wife was one of those women who walk around acting bougie and nasty and mean to everybody, then yeah, okay, yeah, bitch, you got what you deserve because you was already a nasty and you know, disrespectful to women. That's different. Y'all are attacking a woman who has not done anything to any of y'all. That was her husband. Why should she get all the ridicule based off of his actions? Derek Jackson did that. He did that. He went there. That doesn't say anything about her. That says everything about him. And for all these women who believe that she wasn't sexually pleasing him because of how she dresses, how she looks, that's a lie. Y'all don't know that. Y'all don't be in that woman's household. Y'all are only outsiders looking from the outside. There's women out here who have done everything to try to keep their husband satisfied, and these men will still step outside their marriages. These married men who step outside their marriages, it does not mean that something is wrong in the home. I'm going to repeat that again. Just because a married man steps out on his wife, it does not mean she has not been handling her business as a woman. Exactly, Caramel. And it's more than one way to be dusty. You can have on an expensive $1,000 suit and still be dusty. You can be highly educated with a master's and a doctorate and still be dusty. Because you have a lot of high value men with dusty dude tendencies. And they try to act like they're not dusty like Pookie, who stands on the corner selling drugs outside the gas station. You have a lot of high-value men that are undercover Pookies who try to act like their morals are so high that they wouldn't stoop so low to just anything. Exactly. She pleased him enough to have his kids. It's a lot of women out here who just aren't being honest. They will sit up here and knock what other women go through, discredit what other women have taken off another man. And these are the same women that some of these females that try to act like their standards are so high, but they have done low budget whole shit. You sit up here, this woman tried to do the right thing, okay? It wasn't her fault that Derek Jackson cheated. She tried to do it the right way. She married this man. She had her kids from this man. She tried to play it by the rules. She tried to do it morally the right way. She married him. They had kids together, had a house together. That's technically really, if y'all want to really, if you really want to be honest, that's the way it's supposed to be done. But see, a lot of people don't want to go there, but due to the fact that a lot of people have not done it that way. Spiritually speaking, that's the way it's supposed to be done. You get married, have children, and have a home. That's the way it's supposed to be done. But a lot of these single women, these single mothers out here, they'll get offended when you make that type of statement, because the truth is, a lot of them didn't do it that way. A lot of them had baby first, then hope to get the man later. A lot of us as women have done things out of God's order, and we wonder why things don't always work out in our favor. She was doing it the right way, so it's not her fault that he was the one who stepped outside of his marriage, because she did what she was supposed to do, which was be his wife. What do wives do? Wives have your children. Wives take care of you. Wives cook, clean, hold the house down, and they hold the husband down. She did what she was supposed to do. So how is she weak? How is she a woman of no value? And you know what? It's a lot of married women who never been married, who never will be married, who got an opinion about married women. Unless you have been there and experienced it, your opinion really don't matter. Yeah, the women that attracted to her is the bottomless pit and the reflection of what they speak. Yep, with a whole lot of broken promises and more to come. Yeah, exactly, Kales. We try to sit up here. It amazes me how you have some of us as black women, we try to act so righteous in one area, but then we're doing some bald head whole shit in other areas. Yeah, you so highly got morals, not wanting to deal with a married man, but at the same time, you getting knocked up from men who aren't committed to you. Which one, sis? Because for one, we're not going to be righteous in one area and then live immorally in another area. And now we want to sit up here and knock somebody who's going through a marital crisis. Because anytime a woman is experiencing getting cheated on or whatever, that's a marital crisis. That's very traumatizing. And all of us as women, we know that shit is not cool. Any woman who has ever been cheated on, we know that is one of the most painfulest damn experiences you could ever experience as a woman. Let's not sit up here and act like that shit don't hurt, because it hurts. And as a woman, if anything, I don't give a damn if you feel like she was being stupid, Derek Jackson might being dumb. And a lot of y'all, I don't feel sorry for her. I don't feel sorry for her. Well, in my case is, even if you don't want to feel sorry for her, but as a woman in general, we all should have some type of compassion. Because let's face it, a lot of us have been good women to ain't shit ass dudes. Let's not sit up here and act like Miss Jackson was the only woman who been ride or die and dedicated to a man who did not give her all of what she deserved. You mean to tell me she the only black woman, and you got a 1,000 women on these YouTube streets uploading content, dragging this woman through the mud, calling her stupid, calling her dumb, saying she's a sucker, she weak, she ain't got no backbone. The problem is, a lot of y'all think y'all got backbone because y'all done been on y'all back so goddamn much. Y'all done let all kind of dude bust nuts up in y'all and leave y'all with babies and all kind of shit, and they don't even want y'all. Her pain is just different from some of ours. Her pain is just more public than ours. A lot of these women up here, that's what she get. With her married, thinking she married to a man that ain't good for her. The problem is, a lot of y'all can't get married to men that are good for you or ain't good for you. A lot of y'all can't get neither one. And y'all mad about that. But y'all want to take this woman's situation and use it to sabotage her because, again, you are in your feelings about things that you can't get out of men your damn self. And he wasn't. And I'm glad you brought that up, Caramel Baby, because that's why I had to come on this morning, because I need women to understand that there is a lot of temptation out here. And I know there's going to be a couple of bitter sisters that's going to feel like I'm up here co-signing for Derek and I'm trying to give him a pass on his penis. I am not giving Derek a penis pass. But the truth of the matter is, when you are dealing with a man who has not conquered his demons, that has not conquered his lust, he is bound to fall prey to anything out there. And that's an individual choice he has to make as a man. If you know as a man, you are struggling with lust, you are struggling with temptation, this is something in which he has to make that decision as a man to seek spiritual guidance. He needs to be around other men who also struggle with this type of dilemma. That way they can build and uplift each other. Derek Jackson is not the first man who done been caught stepping out on his wife. 9 times out of 10, that means Derek Jackson got a whole lot of other issues that has nothing to do with his wife. Don't think because a man is successful that he is not lacking in other areas. And yes, in the magical world, in the perfect world, no man should be putting his penis anywhere. In the magical world, in the Tyler Perry movie world, they shouldn't be fucking anybody. But the truth is, until they mature and grow in God, these men out here are just as vulnerable as women who around here sleeping with every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Because vulnerability comes in many different levels. Only difference is, because he's a married man, he's getting scrutinized a lot more. But being not married, it don't make you better sleeping with all kind of random people no more than it makes a married person. Doesn't look any better. You have adultery and you got fornication. Both are a sin in the eyes of God. If we want to be biblical and we want to have standards, even if you fucking somebody that's not married, you are still living in sin. having sex while not married, having sex with people that aren't married to you is just as bad as a married person having sex with people outside of their marriage. Carmel says, and none of these women that he slept with, they should have got some money out of his cheating dusty ass. It's really a hot mess. Instead of doing a review video of himself, why don't he do one about how bottomless pits need to stop attacking his wife? I totally agree with that. If Derek Jackson was a real man, what he should have done was said, for one, the first thing he did, he messed up by bringing his wife. He messed up by bringing his wife in. You ain't brought your wife in when you was messing with these other women, so don't bring her in it now, because now you want to confess to the world all of your demonic demons that you've been hiding. Now that he shouldn't even bar her, he shouldn't even bar her to the forefront. You have some women. You have some women, once their husband get caught up in a scandal like that, they fall back and they let him deal with the ridicule on his own. Now, that's what she should have done. If she knew she was not going to leave him, what she should have told him was, look, no, you're on your own on this bullshit. You're going to have to clean this up by yourself. I'm not standing with you on this. I'm not going to be the cleanup woman. I'm not going to rock with you on this one. She should have left his ass out there to dry. Let him explain that shit by himself. I would have not been sitting there holding his hand. I would have been somewhere at Starbucks. That's where the hell I would have been. What I would have been, no, give me your black card so I can get my hair done, my nails done. I deserve a makeover after all this goddamn public humiliation that you have brought upon me. He would have to pay for me a cruise to Jamaica, Bahamas. He would have to give me a $2,000 shopping spree. But I'm not going to be seen with your ass while you give a public apology, while you give a public explanation. But what you can do is book me my nearest flight. Because after all this public humiliation, I'm going to need a goddamn vacation. What he should have done, for one, was not said a damn thing. Or if he was going to say something, he should have said, I caused this. Nobody needs to bash my wife. Nobody needs to attack her. I did this. If y'all got a problem with the situation, come for me. Don't come for her. I created this. She did nothing wrong. It had everything to do with me not being the husband I should have been. I have to make it right for her. This is what I got to do as a man. Derek Jackson don't owe nobody but his wife. Let's be clear. To keep it a buck, that's the only, my thing is, and honestly, like I said, all women have gone through it, but a lot of people think marriage cannot survive cheating, but it all depends. It depends on the factors. It depends on the circumstances. And it depends on those two individuals. For one, you cannot let outsiders have a say-so. You would never have a marriage. For those of you who never been married, who want to get married, even if you're not married, if you're in a relationship, you cannot allow outsiders to dictate how y'all feel about one another. It is not for nobody to understand how you vibe with your mate, how you vibe with your fiance, your husband. That is how y'all vibe. It's not for your sisters to understand, your girlfriends to understand, your female subscribers. Nobody is supposed to be able to understand how y'all connect with each other. That is only between you, him, and God. That is it. Not mama, not daddy. Nobody gets to decide. what your marriage can endure and what your marriage can't endure. Because let me tell you something. If you talk to the people from the old school, your nanas, your papas, a lot of them done passed away and done gone on to be with the Lord, but they'll tell you, anybody who's been married for 30, 40 plus years, they got some stories they can share with you. They got some stories. Stop with this Tyler Perry bullshit. That shit is not supposed to happen, because it goddamn does. It happens. Now, if it happens too often, then you may need to question where your marriage stands. But let's say all of it has happened in a short nick of time, back to back to back. There's some spiritual seeking that needs to be done. Now, I'm not telling any married woman you got to stay. Are you supposed to go? That is her individual choice. First of all, marriage is a very sacred thing. You don't tell somebody what they should or shouldn't do with their husband or their wife. Because marriage is a spiritual bond. That is something that nobody needs to be intervening in. Because God already knows about it. God was dealing with Derek Jackson anyway. That's why he brought it to the forefront. Y'all see, you have to look at things from a spiritual perspective. Everybody just wants to run off the fact that, oh, Derek Jackson, blah, 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 got caught cheating on his wife. He got exposed. Let's be honest. A lot of these content creators, they are only happy Derek Jackson got exposed because now they feel like they're going to win half his audience. Okay? A lot of these content creators, they want to make a mockery out of Derek Jackson's exposure, because the truth is, a lot of them was already hating on this man anyway because of his success. Now, am I giving him a pass on cheating on his wife? No, but let's be clear. A lot of them are running with this story because Derek Jackson already had a lot of haters anyway. They hated the fact that Derek Jackson was advocating for black women. And not only that, you had these black female content creators that was hating on the fact that Derek Jackson already had a large fan base. So what Derek Jackson did, his actions costed him. And that's part of the repercussion he has to take. And this is what a lot of people don't realize. Even if you don't honor your marriage, guess what? God does. And when God sees that you're doing things outside of your marriage that you should not be doing, he will bring it to the forefront. Because this is the problem with a lot of married men and married women. We want to only honor marriage when we feel the need to honor it. When truth is, marriage is something that should be honored all the way around. You only want to honor your wife when you want sex from her. You only want to honor your husband when you want money from him or you want him to pay a bill. Marriage is supposed to be an honorable spiritual bond. And when you allow the enemy to infiltrate in that spiritual bond, what happens is you crack the door open for the enemy to have his way. And what usually happens when you allow the enemy to infiltrate and the enemy has his way with you, eventually he will set you up for exposure. And that's exactly what happened to Derek Jackson. Let me tell you something. You don't have to run behind your husband and check his phone and see where he at, see what he doing. You ain't got to check his emails. You ain't got to go calling other women, confronting them about them messing with your husband. Let me tell you something. If you know you're doing what you're supposed to do as a wife, God is going to deal with him anyway on that. Derek been disrespecting his wife, and that is why it has come to the point where God said, I'm going to deal with you because I'm tired of you. You don't know how hard that woman been praying. You don't know how many nights she been crying. Yeah, I know a lot of y'all single, miserable women feel like she should have just left his ass. That's her stupid ass. If my man was cheating on me, I would have left his ass. But guess what? Everybody ain't you, and you ain't everybody. Leave my ass. What the fuck? I'm not leaving. I ain't the one who cheated. Your ass did. But I know one thing. You gonna buy me a new 2021 truck. I know that much. I'm a be and pain and broke at the same time. He already embarrassed you. Might as well live it on up. People already around here making a mockery out of me, laughing at me. I got these miserable bitches giving me the side eye. I can't go nowhere without people looking at me like I'm dumb and looking at me like I'm weak. Okay, well, they're going to look at me like I'm weak and dumb in this 2021 truck. How about that? Because let's be honest, all of us are taking shit. Some of y'all just taking shit from broke niggas. All of us dealing with some shit. Let's keep it a buck. Everybody going through something with these men. Why y'all trying to sit up here and act like your marriage so perfect? Your relationship so perfect. If he ain't cheating on you, he ain't paying your bills. He don't like to pay no bills, or he may not cheat on you, but he don't want to work nowhere. He may not cheat on you, but he's physically abusive. It's always something with these Negroes. You're not going to get around it. It's going to always be something with them. The only way it's not going to be anything with them is if you just be single. Other than that, you're not going to get around. And I'm not saying as long as he buying you and spending money on you, you should accept cheating. But what I'm saying is, if my thing is, if I'm going to stick with you, if I make the decision to stick with your ass, you're going to pay me double for my trouble. And secondly, you will not humiliate me ever again. You better not even look at another bitch. Because let me tell you something. If Derek's wife is smart, the ball is in her court now. The ball is in her court. She got something a lot of bitches don't have. Excuse my French. But they around here belittling her, talking down on her. It's stuff she got. A lot of them wish they could get. You know how many women got, the majority of women who have really good husbands right now, who got good men, them niggas wasn't always good men. Do you know how much shit she had to deal with for him to get to that point? Let me tell you something. Beyonce took a lot off of Jay-Z for Jay-Z to get to the point to where he stopped holding around on her and started really respecting her for the queen that she deserved to be. When her Jay-Z first got together, Jay-Z thought he was the shit because he had Beyonce up under his arms. Not only the fact that she was Beyonce, but she was younger than him. So he really was smelling himself. Sometimes these men get good wives and get good women. They smell themselves. Exactly. Because you're not going to get, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm going to be honest with my ladies. You're not going to get around a man not disappointing you. They're going to disappoint you. But the thing is, what do you plan on doing from here on out? Not to make me look like a jackass again. Jay-Z, I studied Jay-Z and Beyonce relationship for years. Jay-Z stalled marrying that girl for years. Jay-Z went almost 7-8 years not proposing to Beyonce. After she kept proving to him that she was the woman for him, Jay-Z allowed his cockiness, arrogance, and his high value mentality to stall him from marrying Beyonce for a long time. And I totally get it. All women aren't built to deal with certain things. And I would never tell a woman to accept a cheater, but at the same time, I'm not going to persuade her to throw in the towel on her marriage either. Because believe it or not, sometimes it takes a man to get fucked over by the right bitch to realize, you know what, I had a good woman all along. I had a good woman. Sometimes you gotta let a nigga go out there and experience and see the bitches he think that want him really ain't for him like you are. But I'm not saying deal with that shit for 3, 4, 5, 20 years. I'm saying you as a woman, you know what you can take. But sometimes you have to allow a man to find out the hard way. Sometimes it pays off. Sometimes it don't pay off. I've known some women who had to go through a lot of pain and embarrassment, but when he finally got to that point in which he realized, I cannot continue to keep hurting my wife, I cannot continue to keep jeopardizing my household, they have a really good marriage. I know several women who have experienced what Derek Jackson's wife has experienced, and they are in a better place. Them niggas, they ain't throwing their dicks out there no more like that because they realize the short-term benefits does not outweigh the pain and the consequences that come behind fucking around with so many random women. Sometimes it's no different than having a child. A child, if you're a parent, you have a child that has that attitude where they know every goddamn thing. I'm going through that right now. Unfortunately, I just had to put my daughter out of my household because she's gotten to a point to where she thinks she knows more than I do. And the only way she's going to find out she does not know no more than I do, I'm going to have to let her go and experience the real world for herself. That's what I'm saying. See, but poetic Kales. But poetic Kales, how dare you take away these women's delusions, these Tyler Perry movies delusions. Black women, we want to believe in the Tyler Perry version. Oh, he would never. He will never. That's never going to happen to me. My marriage is perfect. I give the best of blowjobs. He never going to cheat on me. I cook the best steak and potatoes and lasagna. He'll never cheat on me. Or my favorite one, I had all his babies. He'll never cheat on me. Sometimes you got to go through certain things to better yourself as a man or as a woman. Now, if Derek Jackson don't learn anything from this, if he still continues to be arrogant and think he does not owe his wife anything after all of the stress and humiliation he taken her through, then that's pretty much on her. Sometimes people who've been married for 30, 40 years, they got stories to tell you. Sometimes you have to allow people to step out for them to see shit ain't what it looked like. Salt and sugar look the same, but it's not. I have friends, I have family members. They had to go through the pain and embarrassment for it to get to that point to where they realize they got to do something different. Oh yeah, I'm his baby mama child. I done heard that so many times. But believe it or not, I know a lot of married men, you can't even pay them to look at another bitch because it took them messing with the wrong bitch that almost cost them everything. Now, sometimes you got to let them get bit by the wrong bitch because when they get bit, They sit their ass down and realize, you know what? I ain't fucking around no more. There's too many crazy ass bitches out here. Sometimes, there's a lesson to be learned in everything. You want these men to come to you perfect, flawless, never cheat, never disappoint you. You're never going to have a marriage. I'm going to just be honest with you on that, honey. Stop watching these Tyler Perry movies. A lot of these men, they come to us broken. And I'm not saying it's our job to fix them, but they come to us broken, and we're up here beating ourselves down thinking we're not doing enough when, like, Derrick Jackson was already broken. It got nothing to do with his wife damn bonnet. That's why he started his channel to draw women to him, because Derrick Jackson been seeking validation for a long time. You have a lot of men with this man-child syndrome. Just because a man look like a man, that don't mean him man. Just because he's built, he's muscular, he's tight-toned, he has bass in his voice and all of that. He can have all of these masculine attributes and still have a lot of childish-ass tendencies under all of that masculinity. You hanging around women, holding conversations with them that's inappropriate. All that's that man-child syndrome. A real man knows not to put himself in a predicament in which he could easily fall prey to a female. You got all of these female audience, knowing half of them DMing you. You got all these females who following you. If Derrick Jackson, if you knew you was already struggling with temptation and lust, last thing you should have been doing is building a platform for women, knowing it was going to draw women to you. Caramel Baby says, but I got me a new BMW. I'll let him keep on cheating every year, and he'll be buying me a BMW every year. You know what? You have a lot of single women that are bashing women for the stuff that they take. But at the same time, single women is taking shit off of men that's not even with them, that's not even committed to them. My thing is, we all got to take some shit, but take some shit that will benefit. A lot of y'all taking shit off of men who you got babies from. They won't send you no child support. They won't take care of you. They don't do nothing for you. We all dealing with some shit. My shit may be different from Kale's shit. My shit may be different from Caramel Baby shit. Bullshit, cow shit, horse shit. And the bottom line is, it all stinks. It's just different shits, but they all stink. So for all the women up here who are bashing and knocking Miss Jackson for the demise of her marriage right now, a lot of y'all on y'all third, fourth baby daddy, or your one dusty struggle dude. You think you better than the next woman because you didn't marry your dusty, but you still with your dusty. You got a baby from your dusty. And I've never liked that about black women. Black women are always trying to one-up each other. And the bottom line is, all of us are still under some level of dysfunction. You have black women, they try to make their dysfunction sound less dysfunctional than another black woman's dysfunction. Yeah, my man, yeah, my baby daddy, we may not be married, but at least he take care of his kids. Yeah, okay. Well, this woman over here, yeah, she's married to the father of her child, and he takes care of her kids. So what are you really saying? Oh, well, at least my man ain't cheating on me. Yeah, your man ain't cheating on you because he ain't got shit to cheat with. Nobody wants your man. He don't have a job. He got to drive your car. What he got to cheat with? You paying for every goddamn thing. Black women are always doing that. He be up there beating on her, and she stand there and she taking. But it's shit you taking that another woman wouldn't take. All of us are taking or dealing with something. But what you want to do is you want to highlight my failures so you can feel good about your failures. You want to call me out on my personal issues so you don't have to own any of yours. Women pull this shit all the time. This is why I have a very small circle of female friends. Cause I hear it all the time on YouTube. I be hearing women rant and go in on each other, tell each other's dirty laundry. I'm like, y'all exposing all each other's business, but the whole bottom line is everybody got problems at the end of the day. Yeah, they try to glamorize dysfunction. That's what I'm saying. All of us out here are going through something. But what a lot of women do is they will gossip about another woman's failures, about another woman's dysfunctions. We will sit up here and bash and drag each other through the mud all day, knowing we got our own problems, we got our own struggles. Black women are always trying to one up each other. It has gotten to the point in which, you know, we try to like Kels just said, we try to glamorize our failure. Well, at least my husband ain't cheating on me, but at least all 5 of my baby daddies, they taking care of their kids. Do you not realize you knocking my dysfunction, but you praising your dysfunction? Are we serious? That's how we rolling now, ladies? Yeah, your husband up here messing around and cheating on you. Okay, well, if I choose to stay in a marriage in which I'm able to handle or endure, don't knock me because I have a certain level of tolerance that you may not have, because it's shit you dealing with that I can't deal with. Yeah, I'm going through it right now with my husband and this issue with him stepping out, blah, blah, blah. But you going through your issue of all 4 and 5 of your baby daddies. You can't get none of them to step up and help you to co-parent with your children. You have the stress of having to deal with it all by yourself. You got your stress, sis, and I got my stress, sis. Let me deal with my baggage like you dealing with your baggage. It's not about one up, and we don't share the same lifestyle. What you like is not what I like, so they can get a one up all they want to. Absolutely. And that's my point. Exactly. Don't worry about what about her husband cheating on her. Worry about why your baby daddy ain't sending the child support. Worry about your Section 8 apartment. Worry about your own struggles. You don't have time to be keeping up with what another woman is doing in her household. You got grown women around here acting like little girls, be trying to be in competition with you. And you cannot keep putting these men on a pedestal about what they would never do. My husband would never. My baby daddy would never. It don't matter how good of a woman you are. You could be in church faithfully. You could go to every Bible study, every Sunday service, and some of these men will still step out on you. And for women who are making a mockery out of other women that are being cheated on and being disrespected, don't worry, because guess what? One day you may very well walk in that woman's shoes. What goes around comes around. So why you think it could never be you and it would never happen to you? Like my grandmother would say, keep living. My turn today, your turn may be tomorrow. As I stated before, even the best woman, you can't predict the actions of another human being. You could be a good wife, you can be an attentive wife, you could be a good mother to the children, and these men can still fall prey and do something dumb, and people looking at you, they can fall prey to temptation, and people looking at you like it says something about you. So the question goes, the unfaithful husband. What's causing men like Derek Jackson to be unfaithful? What are the factors that play into it? The first thing is immaturity. You have a lot of grown men that are immature as hell. You got some grown men that are so immature, the moment there's a problem or him and his wife is having a disagreement, he'd rather go leave the house than to sit there and talk about it and communicate with it. Well, what's going on? Man, I got to go clear my head. I got to go step out. I got to get out the house. You have some married men who lack maturity when it comes to being a husband. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that if he does not have a lot of experience in committed relationships, or if he doesn't fully understand that his actions will inevitably have consequences like hurting his partner, he may think it's fine to have sexual adventures. He might think of his commitment to monogamy as a jacket that he could put on or take off as he pleases, depending on the circumstances. And another battle that a lot of women are going to be dealing with, you're going to be, a lot of us are picking up men that have been with so many other dysfunctional black women. He comes to you thinking that he can treat you the same way he has treated other dysfunctional black women that he's been with in the past. Some of these men have been with other black women that have not been good for them. So when they come to you, you got to be the cleanup woman. And some of these black men have been with the most trifling ass black women. And they come to you broken, dysfunctional, chaotic. And you have to reprogram these niggas to get out of that mindset of what the last woman had him in. A lot of these men come to you broken. But when we hear the word broken, we just want to associate it with black women. Black women are not the only creatures on this planet that are broken. We have some broken black men as well. So that's the first thing. A lot of Derek Jackson was just straight immature. I don't care how much dating philosophies and how highly intellectual. Yeah, he got degrees. He's in all of that. But he still has a lot of immaturity. And if you definitely get with a man, who's not used to being committed, and you're the first woman he's been committed to, You 9 times out of 10, you're gonna go through a lot with him because you got to purge that single man mentality out of his system. You got some guys that men that are in relationships, but they still got that single man mindset. I hear you, Caramel. And the truth is, you have a lot of them that's like that. Sometimes you meet a man, you can meet a right man, but you can meet him at the wrong time. You could be meeting him during the phase of immaturity, where he does not really understand how his actions could affect his household. And out of his immaturity. Other issues that's causing some of these husbands to be unfaithful is co-occurring issues, meaning ongoing problems such as alcohol, drugs that affect his decision making, resulting in regrettable sexual decisions. Now, you have some men who love to drink, who love to smoke. You have some men that have some bad habits. What's up, Martha Divine? Martha says, I just hate how they coming for his wife. A lot of them say women have cheated on the state and stayed themselves. Absolutely. And that's what I've been preaching on from when I started this content, is that everybody is going in on his wife. But that's Derek Jackson's fault, because Mr. Jackson should have came to his wife's defense and said, first of all, I created this. I did this. Stop coming for her. Stop coming for my wife. She did nothing wrong. If y'all going to be mad with me. I'll take the punches. That's awesome, Caramel. See, it's some sisters out here. We trying to do the right thing. Everybody ain't trying to be in baby mama. Everybody ain't trying to be with a Dusty. But like I stated, this is a second issue that are causing men to step out of their marriages. Problems with alcohol, drugs. And some of them have, a lot of people don't want to believe it, but you have what's called sexual addiction. He compulsively engages in sexual fantasies and behaviors as a way to numb out and avoid life. Now, a lot of us as women, we feel like men should be built. We feel like men are built to deal with certain things because they are men. We don't think men can be vulnerable. So I'm going to ask all the women in the chat. On a scale, 1, if you think men can be vulnerable, or 2, if you feel there's no such thing as a man being vulnerable. There's no right or wrong answers. Do y'all really think men can be vulnerable? 1, if you feel men could be vulnerable. Or 2, no, ain't no such thing. Men can't be vulnerable. That's a lie. We just trying to make up excuses for black men. No, there's no such thing. Because I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. And I'm not going to ridicule you if you pick 2. This is not about who's right, who's wrong. We're just studying men. We're as women, we're talking about how to deal with this, because there may be a sister in the chat room that's going through this right now. Not many women are going through what Derek Jackson's wife is going through. Men can be vulnerable too. I don't care how successful he is. If he's at the right place at the right time, depending on what he's going through in life, he can be caught up. If he's drinking too much, smoking too much weed. A lot of times too, especially where a lot of women get blindsided, is men who are successful. We think because a man makes a lot of money, he's automatically happy. Not true. You have some men who know how to play the role of being happy, and they just as miserable as it comes. Unfortunately, Martha, that's true. It's not necessarily a good thing, but it's very true though. The problem with a lot of men is when they go through shit, they don't like to talk. Men are not communicators. Women, we differ from them. When we going through stuff, oh, we gonna call them and let them know. I'm dealing with this. I'm going through that. Blah, 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 blah. Men are not as verbally expressive as we are because it's a pride and the ego thing. They don't feel like they can always necessarily let their guard down with us. And when they do, sometimes it takes years. Because where men different from women, the reason why men are so guarded about stuff, because they know the moment they share something very vulnerable with the woman, that she can attack him and use it against them. Men are very paranoid creatures when it comes to being transparent with their feelings, because they feel like the moment they be transparent and put themselves out there, a woman is going to use it for her advantage in the event to hurt him. So men are very particular creatures. Absolutely, Martha. And see, this is the part that a lot of black women don't want to discuss with black women. Men do not process things the way that we do. And me and my mom, we've talked about this for years. Men are so different from us. And the problem with women, we try to psychologically think we can think and reason like men, and we can't. We are totally different from them. They're totally different from us. We can psychologize black men to a certain degree, but no matter how many books we study on black men, no matter how much advice we get from other black men on black men, we will never truly really understand the psyche of a black man, no more than a black man would truly ever understand the psyche of black women. That's why I really despise a lot of these YouTube dating coaches, because they think they have all of the answers when it comes to what black men are and what black women are, and they really don't have all the answers. We don't know each other like we think we do. A lot of people doing video streams on Derek Jackson trying to trying to do psychology analytics on his situation, when the truth is we really don't know internally what type of psychological or demonic demons he's dealing with. Absolutely. Men have a big issue with women who throw stuff up in their face, especially when it's something personal and dear to his heart. For one, a man has to really love you and care about you to be transparent about certain things. I know for me, I can't speak for a lot of women, but I know for me, my husband really just started really being transparent with me, like I'll say probably like the ninth, eighth, maybe the 8th or 9th year of our 21-year marriage. He was really guarded with me about a lot of things that he experienced in his childhood and type of personal other things. And I was surprised. I'm like, wow, you just now telling me this. And he had to get to a place in which he felt comfortable with really letting his guard down. And sometimes too, I know that some men do not really be vulnerable until they get themselves in an unvulnerable situation where they don't have a choice. Now they're being transparent. Once they done got exposed, once they done got caught, now they're being very transparent because now they got no choice. They have to put it out there. See, Derek Jackson doesn't have a choice now but to be transparent because he has been exposed. Caramel, my daughter's a Gemini and she's off the chain, honey, off the chain. Poetic says you can't have all the answers to other people's life. Why do they need a dating coach for? Who knows you better than you? Of course. We have to do some spiritual soul seeking. That's what it's called. Sometimes you got to get on that spiritual journey in which you have to fall back, stop letting all kind of people in your ear, and just start spending some time by yourself. Derek Jackson needs to get his ass off the internet. Stop worrying about books and movies. You need to be comforting your wife. Because this is the only thing I hate about men. Men just swear women, they swear we are the strongest creatures on this earth. Well, even sometimes, damn, we get tired of being strong. I get tired of trying to act like I'm not hurting, I'm not stressing. Because Black women, we have to put up this facade that we are strong all the time. And sometimes you get tired of being strong. At some point, Derek Jackson's wife is going to get tired of being strong for him. He better get a grip. He need to come off the internet and get some therapy. Because believe it or not, there are therapists who need therapists. There are dating coaches who still need to be coached their damn selves. So even all of these experts, we all have a lot that we have to do. We all have a lot we have to do. We all are a work in progress. So again, a man with bad, unhealthy habits, he drinks a lot of alcohol, he does a lot of drugs, or he's dealing with sexual addiction. All of this, again, can create unfaithfulness. Insecurities is another one. He may feel he is too old or too young, not handsome enough, not rich enough, not smart enough, going through a midlife crisis. Anything to bolster his flagging ego, he seeks validation from women other than his mate, using this extracurricular spark of interest to feel wanted, desired, and worthy. You would be surprised. You got men up here seeking validation more than women. Sometimes you can tell a man you love him, you think he's the most handsomest guy, how much you adore him and all of that, and yet he still doesn't feel valuable enough. You got some men out here, that have low self-esteem, just like us Black women, and they will seek attention from anything. Why do you think some of these guys get caught up in these scandals, and then when you find out the side chick they dealing with, you notice she's not attractive? She looks like one of the undesirables. Because it has everything to do with the fact that, yes, you got some low self-esteem issues. Anytime you could pick up a woman that's a female that's nowhere on your caliber to have sex with her, This proves that you have a significant amount of low self-esteem. Exactly, Caramel. Facts. Not all men who act confident and act cocky, that don't mean that they are confident. Derek Jackson may look confident. That don't mean he's confident. And a lot of times when you're dealing with men that are not confident, that's where that deflecting bullshit coming at. Either he bashing black women or he either bashing other black men. All is deflecting because really you don't feel worthy of yourself. You have a lot of insecure men out here who want to point out everybody else's insecurity. Black women ain't shit. Black men out here simping. All this dogging and dragging other people because you're not happy with you. Another issue is why some of these men are unfaithful is the lack of male support system. He may feel undervalued his need for supportive friendships with other men, expecting his social and emotional needs to be met entirely by his significant other. And when she inevitably fails in that duty, he seeks fulfillment elsewhere. Sometimes men need to have good friendships with other good men. The worst thing is for a man to hang around other black men who don't value black women. If a black man is hanging around black men who talk trash about black women all day, that's why I'm not married. That's why I'm glad I'm not married. That's why I don't want no woman in my life. If a married man is hearing other men talk about this all the time and he always is hanging around these kind of men who think that way, he's eventually, that stuff going to get into his mental thinking pores. And the moment he goes home, there's a problem, there's a dilemma, there's a situation. He starts reflecting on what his bitter male support system says. That's why I'm glad that my husband does not listen to these YouTube dating coaches on YouTube, because they are terrible. Anybody who has a male friend or a guy friend who's checking for these dudes and listening to these YouTube dating coaches, these YouTube dating coaches are really poisoning the minds of a lot of black men and black women. They are making it seem like black love does not exist, that black women aren't worth seeking, black men aren't worth investing in. A lot of these dating coaches are really contaminating how black men and black women perceive love. A lot of these men, honestly, men don't have a whole lot of support if y'all really think about it. Women, we can call our girlfriends if we going through something. We could reach out to somebody. We could reach out to an aunt. Men don't have a whole lot of support. They really don't have too many people who they can really let their guard down with and be vulnerable. Now, they may have a homeboy or two, but it's that ego thing. A lot of men don't like sharing their personal struggles with other men. They don't like being vulnerable with other men because it's their egos that make them think that they should be able to take care of it. If I'm struggling with a sex addiction, I got too much pride to call my homeboy or call a male in my family and say I'm struggling with keeping my dick in my pants. First of all, men are very private creatures. They don't like to be very open, and then a lot of them are very egotistical. They don't feel like they should have to get help. They feel like I'm a man. I should be able to figure out how to do this shit by myself. They feel less of a man seeking help from anywhere, from anybody. It's a pride thing. Now, women, we're more verbal. If we got an issue, we gonna call somebody, hey, girl, can you believe what this nigga did? Girl, I'm struggling with this. Men are not wired emotionally like we are. They don't just go around and blab and tell everybody everything. So you know what they do? When men go through, they not gonna call their homeboys like we call our homegirls. When men and women are facing a certain type of crisis, women, we talk. Men, they act out. That's why they're different from us. A man will go to the club and get a drink before he call one of his homeboys and say, man, I'm so depressed. How many men you know gonna call another man and say, I'm depressed? That is not what they do. That's like a simp thing for them. That's why sometimes when you ask a man what's going on or is everything okay, and you know everything's okay, you know what he says? I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm good. And he's not good. But it's this new simp. It's this simpology that's making men feel like they are simps the moment they express themselves in any shape or form. They automatically feeling like they simping because there's this false masculine principles that are being preached to them that you're not a real man if you are vulnerable, if you share what you're going through. So a lot of times your own husband could be going through something. He's not going to sit up there and let his guard down and say, oh, I'm struggling trying to take care of us. I'm struggling trying to take care of this house. Because it's that pride thing. It's that ego thing. I'm struggling trying to love you. Think about it. Very rarely are you going to hear a man verbalize those words. They'll go to the bar and get a drink first. And why they are using these activities to sort out their problems, that's why they use going to the bar to drink. They figure once they have a drink or two, maybe they'll reach an epiphany on what they can do to better or correct the situation they're in. If they're not drinking, they're getting high. You have some men, they will go smoke a blunt. They will go get high before they sit down. Exactly, because it's all about that macho male ego bullshit. Like Martha says, they'll go get high first. They ain't about to get vulnerable with you and let down their guard and get personal with you and tell you what they really going through. They'll go step out somewhere and go smoke a blunt somewhere first. If they don't smoke or drink, they'll sex it off. They'll find something they could sexually penetrate to relieve themselves of their frustration. Because you got women in the streets that are going to let you beat it, slam it, throw them up against the wall. Women in the street will let them take their frustrations out on them roughly. They know they can't do that with the wife at home. Wife at home, no, you're not just going to slap your dick in my mouth. You're not just going to, bang me up against the wall. They know even with a certain level of frustration, they cannot use their wives but to a certain degree. So with the hoe in the street, they could slam her, rough her up, and do what he wants to do with her sexually because it's not about making love to her. It's about fucking his frustrations off. While we thinking it's just, oh, he fucking his frustrations off. Is it right? No. Do I like it? No. Am I condoning it? No. But that's why you have some females who sit there and think, well, he's not satisfied at home with his wife. No, he cannot do with his wife what he does out there in the streets. A woman, a female in the streets, he don't have to take his time with her body. He doesn't he doesn't have to be intimate with her. Sometimes when a man is going through a rough space in his life, he wants to fuck the frustrations off. Not make love to it, not kiss it, not nurture it. And I'm not saying this because I'm proud of it, but that is what the women in the streets are getting. They're not getting the sexual pleasure like women think. Now, you do have men who do step out there and do things with their wife outside sexually that they normally would not do, but that's for other reasons. But in most cases, it has everything to do with them being in a dark space, not being mature enough, not being man enough to deal with what has them feeling like they under pressure. So they feel like that's the only way they can relieve themselves from whatever turmoils they are currently going through. And you wouldn't think it would be so difficult because you're thinking from a woman's perspective. You're thinking, why he can't just talk to me and let me know what's going on? Why he can't just say, why could he just tell me that we didn't have enough money in the bank, that we was in debt? Because it's that pride thing. He knows you are looking for him to handle everything. And he feels like the moment he comes to you and tells you, I can't handle this, that you'll look at his masculinity, you'll look at it in a way of where his masculinity comes off as a weakness to you. Because again, this is a very uncomfortable subject. A lot of women don't like to discuss why men mess around and all this and that. It's a very touchy thing. A lot of women think that when men mess around, it has something. It states that he's missing something within his marriage. And that is not always necessarily the case, but it does mean he's missing something within himself. Sometimes as a wife, it don't matter how good you do. It don't matter how much you cook, clean. If a man is not happy within himself, he's going to step out on you anyway. Because the thing is, it's not about men can separate love from sex. A man can screw 5, 6 women and not feel absolutely nothing for any of them. That is why a lot of women can't understand. Well, how come he can mess around and still want his wife? What the feelings he has with his wife has nothing to do with his sexual urges. That's his own demons he have to fight. No different than, for instance, no different than a person who is eating food that has a lot of sugar knowing they're diabetic. You know it's not good for you. You know you're not supposed to have it. But like I said, the main things we know we can't have, those are the things we desire the most. You're diabetic. You're under a strict doctor's order that you're not allowed to have food that has a high content of sugar. And yet you eat it anyway, knowing it's just going to worsen your diabetic conditions. Same thing with married men who are out here stepping out on their wives. He knows he's not supposed to have those outside things. But until he deals with those urges and stop lying to himself, making himself think, I'm a strong black man, I can do this, I could fuck off on the outside of my marriage and still come home and take care of home. Long as he keeps lying to himself and telling himself that shit, that's when he sets himself up for exposure. That's what Derek Jackson did. And sometimes, let's face it, sometimes these married men, they get cocky. They get big on themselves and they get big on their wives. Some of them start feeling like they could treat their wives all kind of way, because you have some women who sincerely and truly love their husbands, will do anything for them. And the sad part is some of these married men, most of them take advantage of that shit. She ain't going nowhere. She ain't leaving me. So I'm going to fuck off. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And sooner than later, because God don't like ugly, when you disrespect your wife and you don't honor your marriage and you don't honor your vows, then guess what? You end up in a Derek Jackson situation. Since you won't respect your wife, I tell you what, I'm going to expose you. I'm going to let the whole world see you for who you truly are. And that's what God did with Derek Jackson. He been disrespecting that woman. You don't know how many nights that woman probably prayed and said, God, I can't take him treating me like this. I can't take him up here being a savior to other women, but he's not even the savior to me. You have some women who have prayed and prayed and prayed for God to deal with their husbands. And while y'all are making a mockery and calling this woman weak and stupid, who's to say God ain't answered this woman's prayers? This nigga done got exposed now. Please deal with my husband. He's around here making people think he's such a good man. You don't know how God protects and blesses his children. You'll be surprised. A lot of these men get beside themselves, especially these married ones. I got a wife, she ain't going nowhere. She ain't leaving me. A lot of these dudes get beside themselves. Derek Jackson got beside themselves. And Lord, please don't let them get a little success. They really get beside themselves. Oh Lord, don't let other women start checking for them. They really get beside themselves. But eventually, it's going to come to a head. That's what happened with Derek Jackson. And guess what? That's what's happening with rapper T.I. You know how many times T.I. disrespected Tiny? And look at this big old scandal he got going on now. Mr. Cocky, Mr. Arrogant, Mr. Intellectual. I also watched a show called Love and Marriage in Huntsville. Now, I don't know how many of you ladies watch that, but I've been a fan of that show when they started. And it's a reality show about 3 couples. I think like 4 couples, 3 or 4 couples. All of them are pretty successful. You know, real estate agents, got their own businesses and stuff, you know. And one of the couples on there, Melanie Holtz and Martell Holtz, handsome guy, successful. They really had a good thing going. They started a real estate business. They have beautiful children. And this nigga just couldn't keep his dick out his pants. Messed around on his beautiful, successful wife for some young, you know, airhead who's not that cute, but probably have a blow job of a professional. Let this young girl suck him off, and he lost his goddamn mind and lost his marriage because he got the girl knocked up. That's why I say it got nothing to do with looks. I don't care if you're wearing a goddamn bonnet or a hefty trash bag. If a man is not satisfied within himself, he's going to step out on you. It don't matter what you do. A lot of these men are getting exposed, cheating on their wives, because God don't like ugly. God honors marriage. And the day that he gets tired of you not honoring it, he's going to put your problems on stage for the world to see. And let me tell you something. As long as you can keep hiding your demons, you're not going to get any help. As long as you can keep lying and hiding behind it, you're never going to fix it. But once you're put in a situation where your demons are put on stage for the world to see, now you got to deal with it. Some people are not going to stop doing the shit they do until they get exposed. And that's what happened with Derek Jackson. That's what happened with Martell Hart on the show. He been disrespecting his wife. She been dealing with him getting big on her, getting arrogant. He's messing with this other woman. So Montel messing with this other woman made him think everything was wrong with Melanie, with his wife. He up here degrading and tearing his wife down, talking about how you don't satisfy me. But at the same time, he mad because Melanie decided to get tired of the bullshit and she left the marriage. So, like I said, while everybody's making a mockery out of Derrick Jackson's wife, Derrick Jackson is the one with the spotlight really on him. Yeah, because let me tell you something. Yeah, when the heat turned up, at this point, he better go find God because he don't have a choice. And sometimes God will put your back against the wall in which you can't go to nobody but him. Derrick Jackson got beside himself, not only with his wife, but also with God. Because let's keep it real. Success will make people think they bigger than God. Success will make people think they don't need God. Derrick Jackson been being his own God for a long time. He been his own God for a long time. With his success, with his books, with his platform, Derrick Jackson been showing his ass. And most of all, he been showing his ass on his wife, and God got tired of it, and he exposed him. Because sometimes, too, God has a purpose for you. So sometimes the worst ones is the ones who God be wanting to use for his good. Because the truth is, a lot of us are already anointed. God has already chosen who he wants to use to lead. And sometimes people who think they aren't qualified to be used by God, those are the ones that God has qualified. Even with all this scandal, Derrick Jackson may be who God wants to use. But God is not going to use you until you get rid of those demons out your closet. And who's to say God may have something bigger and better planned for Derrick Jackson through all this scandal? He merely may allow the situation to turn his life around, but God had to expose him because God can't use people who are still struggling with demons. He has to expose your demons so you can get rid of those demons so he can start utilizing you for his will and for his glory. He got full of himself. Exactly. And God probably been giving him signs saying, hey, I'm telling you, God gave Derrick pretty close calls. I guarantee you, Derrick Jackson had got plenty close calls. So many times God was dealing with him, all right? Probably had women that threatened him, that they was going to expose him. He kept blowing it off. Blowing it off. Ain't nothing going to happen to me because I'm Derrick Jackson. You get some of these men, they get full of it. They get some views. They get a platform. They start doing good. You can't tell them nothing. You can't tell them absolutely nothing. And especially as a wife, when you been with this nigga, when he didn't have nothing, he struggled. Now God is blessing him. He's in a good place where he making some money. He's being successful. Now y'all are in a good place where y'all can really enjoy y'all marriage. Y'all can travel. Y'all can do things. This nigga hoeing. Instead of spending money on you, he's spending money everywhere else. See, God don't like ugly. And that's just why Derrick Jackson got exposed. Another element of the unfaithful husband, Confusion about limerence versus commitment. He might understand the difference between romantic intensity and long-term love. Mistaking the neurochemical rush of early romance, technically referred to as limerence, for love, and failing to understand that in healthy long-term relationships, limerence is replaced over time with less intense but untimely, more meaningful forms of connection. Sometimes some of these men, these married men, they get stale in these marriages. They get stale. The same excitement or infatuation they first had with you, now that you done had their kids, you done had their babies, now y'all living and been living in the same house together for 10 years or more, he don't have that same intensity. He didn't, because as the saying goes, Martha, warning comes before destruction. Let me tell you something. God will allow stuff to happen, but he'll give you an outlet for you to escape from it. And when you keep ignoring the signs, he'll eventually say, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just put it out there. A lot of them think limerence is love, and it's not. Another reason, too, a lot of these men have stepped out on their wives because of childhood abuse. He may be reenacting or lently responding to unresolved childhood trauma, neglect, emotional abuse, psychological, physical, sexual. In such cases, his childhood wounds have created attachment and intimacy issues that leave him unable or unwilling to fully commit to one person. He may also be using the excitement and distraction of sexual infidelity as a way to self-soothe the pain of these old unhealed wounds. Do you not know there's a lot of grown men out here that have been sexually abused? That have been physically abused? Not all black men were raised in a happy household. Not all men, period. White, black, Puerto Rican, whoever. All of them were not born and raised in the best of circumstances. Don't think because a man is a man, he looks like a man, he walks like a man, he smells like a man. That does not mean he has not gone through traumatizing issues in his childhood. We think only when we hear the word sexual abuse and emotional abuse, we automatically want to associate it as if it's only a problem for women. Underrated Darkness, he was in here earlier, but he was one of the men who said he was sexually molested by a female in his young age. And he says he hates that people make fun of it, like, oh, wow, you was raped, really? It's like when a man gets raped, it's a joke. But if he was a child at that time, when it happened, you think that don't affect him? Well, once a man has experienced a grown woman's vagina at the age of 10 or 11, and he actually penetrated that woman, once he gets that adrenaline rush, it becomes like a high. Now he becomes addicted to that feeling, because he was a child at the time when he experienced sexually penetrating a woman, not understanding that although the penetration part may have been exciting for him, but the problem is psychologically ruined him, because he did not become a fully grown man to be able to know how to balance his sexual climax from his sexual mental. See, it's too deep. We don't want to talk about this. You have a young man, a young black male, who has a grown woman taking advantage of him. You think he's going to be normal? We don't know if Derek Jackson went through that or not. And again, this is not to condone it. I'm just saying it's a lot of men out here who are struggling with sexual addictions. I know a man who said his father used to pay for prostitutes to have sex with him because he didn't want his son being gay. Now, how many young men have been forced to do manly activities that they weren't prepared to do? It happens. You may have a husband or a man who's been sexually molested. And Lord, if they went to prison, that's a whole nother story there. Marrying men out of prison, and it's a lot of sisters doing it. Let's not act like we ain't. These young men who entered the system as juveniles did 10, 15 years. They done got used to being penetrated a certain way, or they done got used to getting a certain level of sexual stimulation. A woman just don't do it for them always. Because I hate to really go there, but nobody knows how to please a man like a man. Nobody knows how to please a woman like a woman. Not to say I've had any sexual encounters with women, and I don't plan on doing so, but we know each other. A woman knows what it takes to make a woman feel good. A man knows what it takes for a man to feel good. And if you had a man, and if a man experienced a man getting a hold of him sexually before a woman has, and now he's trying to learn how to just be pleased by a woman, his body, his psyche may be less receptive to it because it's already been tampered with. And it's hard to untamper something once you have experienced it. Want to talk about the next element is selfishness. That's one reason there's been a lot of unfaithfulness and, coming from married men is selfishness. It's possible that his primary consideration is for himself and himself alone. He can therefore lie and keep secrets without remorse or regret, as long as it gets him what he wants. It's possible he never intended to be monogamous. Rather than seeing his vow of monogamy as a sacrifice made to and for his relationship, he views it as something to be avoided and worked around. You got some men that are just goddamn plain selfish. Oh, wow. Martha says, I had a friend who married a man that was in prison. In the end, he left her for a man. I can believe that. I can believe that. Once a man has sexually stimulated another man, he's not going to be as receptive to take a sexual stimulation from a woman. Because that man that he had that sexual encounter with, he knew exactly what to do to stimulate him, to arouse him. So I can believe that. But yes, selfishness plays a big role. You got some men that just gonna do what the hell they want to do. But don't matter if you're a good wife, you're a supportive wife, you do your hair, don't do your hair. You got some men that just plain selfish. Terminal uniqueness. He may feel like he is different and deserves something special that other men might not. The usual rules just don't apply to him, so he is free to reward himself outside his primary relationship whenever he wants. You have some men that have a sense of entitlement. They automatically feel like they should have certain things. They feel like, because I'm the only one paying the bills, or I'm the only one who's out here hustling. You got some men that have this sense of entitlement. Like, if I'm the one, taking care of the family, doing everything, I'm entitled to having a little something on the side, when really that's almost another form of selfishness. But it's really a form of entitlement. Unfiltered impulse. He may never have even thought about cheating until an opportunity suddenly presented itself. Then, without even thinking about what the infidelity might do to his relationship, he went for it. Some men don't go have a long pattern and just cheating for 3, 4, 5 months. He could just go out one night, say, babe, going to go hang out with the boys. Going to shoot a game of pool. Probably after that, I'm going to go to Rick's house and we're going to play a game of dominoes, get it cracking. And really, that was his only plans for that night. He was not looking for some ass. He wasn't thinking about looking for that was nowhere on his mind. Until this particular night, went out to the bar, shooting pool with his friends, having a good time. In comes this group of females who posted up on the bar beside them. Starts off small talk. Hey, how you doing? Is this your first time here? Never seen you before. Are you from around here? No, I'm just my first time here. I'm just hanging out, Is there any places you could recommend for me? I don't live around here, Any restaurants, any spots? That small talk. Yeah, I know this place on 54th Street. Sell pretty good food, pretty good oxtails and yellow rice, blah, blah, blah. Well, maybe one of these days you can show me around. I mean, I don't really know anybody around here like that, but maybe if we exchange numbers. And sometimes they ain't even exchange no numbers. Sometimes, you be in that environment and you around all of these attractive women that are dressed very promiscuous. And again, this is not to condone anything, but you're in an environment where you smoke and you get your drink on. You and this woman having a conversation. You had a few, she done had a few. Next thing you notice, you banging this chick out in the backseat of your car. That wasn't the plan that night. You didn't leave your house that night. Or I'm gonna go fuck around on my wife. I'm gonna go fuck around on my husband. Some cheaters, in most cases, they didn't look to cheat. Wrong place, wrong time, wrong environment. Going to them clubs, knowing it's a lot of single, hood-hounded, thirsty-ass men and women. A club has never been a safe place for married people, to be honest with you. There's way too much temptation there. People coming there underdressed, revealing their body parts. Y'all drinking, y'all smoking. Yes, a hookup hole culture. That's exactly what the club is. Women be so desperate for a man and wonder why they always end up with the short end of the stick. Absolutely. Martha says she wouldn't listen. We tried to tell her that desire for a man won't go away no matter what she does. She learned the hard way. Yeah, once a man has been sexually stimulated by another man, you can't unprogram his psyche from that. She could suck him off all she wants. It's not going to change that. Absolutely, I agree. Next is unrealistic expectations. He may feel that his partner should meet his every whim and desire, sexual and otherwise, 24/7, regardless of how she feels at any particular moment. He fails to understand that she has a life of her own, with thoughts and feelings and needs that don't always involve him. When the expectations are not met, he seeks external fulfillment. You have some men that can be very petty, very childish. They think that anytime they want some, you should just stop what you're doing and cock open and give them some. They act like you don't have no other life outside of them. And I showed Love and Marriage in Huntsville. That's all Montel kept saying about his wife. She wasn't sexually fulfilling me. She wasn't doing her job. Let me tell you something. What a lot of these men don't understand, and that's why I try to tell a lot of them, any woman on the outside can make you feel good because, again, she's only dealing with your ass in small segments. Of course, she could suck you till you dry because she don't have to do nothing else. She's not cooking for you. She's not cleaning for you. She's not handling businesses for you. So, of course, she can make you feel like a champ in the bedroom. She's only dealing with your ass for 30 minutes. If that much, depending on how long you last. But I've heard men say that all the time. She's pleasing me. She's satisfying me. I guess so. You only meet her every other Saturday, or you only see her on the weekends. Well, I'm dealing with you 5 days a week. We got kids, we got bills, we got house repairs. I don't have time to always sexually accommodate you. The other thing is anger and revenge. He may cheat to get revenge. He is angry with his mate and wants to hurt her. In such cases, the infidelity is meant to be seen and known. The man does not bother to lie and keep secrets about his cheating because he wants his partner to know about it. Now, I know a female who cheated on her husband. And that's why I tell women, men cannot deal with the shit that we deal with. They talk all this big shit, but they can't deal with the stuff we deal with. And she called herself messing around on him. Not only she messed around on him, she got knocked up and got pregnant. Now, in between that time, they already had other children together. She got knocked up. And sure enough, he messed around on her and knocked up another chick on her and knocked up another chick twice. And when I met her husband before he started doing his dirt, I never understood why he was very distant with her. I thought her husband was just a straight asshole, honestly, because I never heard him like be very catering to her. I never heard them like go places and do things. I never heard them. He just never seemed, he wasn't like very husbandly. They didn't travel. They never went anywhere. He seemed kind of stiff as a board, and I couldn't understand it. I thought he was just an ass, but then the truth came out later. She been cheated on him. I said, oh, wow. No wonder. And they've been married every bit of 18, 19 years, and he still won't hardly go nowhere and do nothing with her. Now, he got back and he cheated on her double. He got 2 kids outside of the marriage too, but she started it. She got knocked up from another dude first, and instead of him just leaving her, I don't know if he was in love with her. I don't know. He stayed with her, but to hurt her, he knocked up another chick twice. Just to hurt her. To make her double feel the pain he been feeling when she first did it. So you have some men who mess around too because their wives have done it. Let's face it, all women are not innocent. You got women who could cook, clean, and still just as whorish. Being a good woman don't make you a faithful woman. And yeah, and Martha, even though they're together, you can just tell she'll never get that husband she really wants out of him. She travels a lot by herself. I mean, don't get me wrong, they are together, they pay the bills together, but you can pretty much tell he really ain't studying her like that. They're still together. It's been 17, 18 something years, but there's no they don't act like it's any love there. They may have a love for each other, but they don't got to dinner. They never do anything romantically. And I think it's because he resents her in a sense. So if they do stay with you, they just gonna dog you, or a man, he's just gonna leave you all together because again, men, they're not built to deal with the shit that women are built with. I don't like that it's like that, but they just aren't. So it's so many points out, and we definitely gonna talk more about this. These married men that are being unfaithful. I broke down a lot of the factors for the most part. Really it's just immaturity and selfishness. We don't even have to get deep. We know it's gonna always be scenarios for why men cheat, but really it's just straight immaturity and selfishness. You're dealing with a man child who don't know how to deal with his issues, who don't know how to express himself. He'd rather go out and get a drink. He'd rather go out and smoke. He'd rather go fuck his frustrations off. Because that's his way of dealing, while at the same time concealing what he's going through. Some men stay for kids and responsibilities. Very good point, Martha. Yeah, a lot of men too, they stay in a marriage not because they want to, They just don't want another man raising their children. They don't want to pay alimony, child support. Yeah, that's definitely a big factor. But the bad part is, though, where a lot of some of these guys got to be careful. But if your wife has proof that you've been unfaithful, she could take you to court and divorce you, and still you have to pay alimony and everything else. So, you know, you got to be careful when you can't play these kind of games. What a lot of these men have to understand is being unfaithful comes with a lot of drama. Derek Jackson is experiencing that firsthand. You have all of these women coming out, adding more to the story, exposing you. You may end up with a child outside of the marriage that you have to financially be obligated for. That's a whole nother problem. You may get involved with a woman that has psychological issues. Some of these females are crazy out here. They will stalk you. They will stalk your wife. They will stalk your children. You got to be careful, you know, so don't just look at the fact that she's easy and you can get some. You need to do your bio and make sure she's not dysfunctionally bad off, because you could very well end up getting involved with somebody that has psychological issues way beyond what you were prepared to handle. So anyway, you know, I've been on here for 2 hours and some change, going on 3. I'm definitely going to start doing more here in the ladies mocha's lounge, because again, it's a lot of women out here. They need help with their relationships. They need help with growth, and we have to find a place in a space that's not so negative. Like I said, a lot of the spaces I go to now, when it comes to women, it's too many women are just beefing and arguing and airing each other's dirty laundry. You know, you can't go in a female space without drama. And then sometimes when you go into these spaces to listen and you chat a little something, you got females from the other channel saying you chat in the channel with other females they don't like, and they want to block you because they feel like you got some kind of type of alliance. And I'm like, people is crazy. You know, this YouTube streets is just getting worse and worse and worse. You can't even go in the chat room and post something without somebody thinking you got an agenda. You know what I mean? So it's gotten to a point now where I just people out from the clouds. I don't even go and chat. You know, and the truth is, some of these content creators, they don't even know how to interact with their audience. You know, when my audience comes in, I speak to everybody. I address you personally, per se. A lot of these content creators, they don't even do that. You come in their chat room, they don't even acknowledge you there, don't even speak to you. I'm like, y'all so damn rude. Y'all so busy wanting to talk drama. Y'all forget to acknowledge and even speak to your subscribers when they come into the chat. It's crazy. But anyway, yeah, we're going to be talking more about this, ladies. Please make sure y'all haven't subscribed already. Subscribe to my Ladies Mocha's Lounge. Again, this is going to be my channel specifically for women. We're going to be talking about marriage. We're going to be talking about all type of topics that are pertaining to women. We need a place in a space of our own. So again, just be on the